Well, there are over 2 million unplanned pregnancies every year, and it can be very frightening for a young mother and the father, but it doesn't have to be that way. Many parents don't know where to turn or what options are available to them. Joining us this morning is a very special guest who is here to talk about the important choice of adoption and a wonderful organization called Lifetime Adoption that helps parents every step of the way and beyond. Please welcome Mardie Caldwell, author of So I Was Thinking About Adoption. Mardie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you are indeed an expert on adoption, but what exactly is Lifetime Adoption?
Well, it's an organization that I started many, many years ago that really help birth parents and adoptive parents come together for the good of a child so they can find a way, if they're interested in adoption, to put it together in a very different way that has been from years ago. That means choosing the type of adoption they want, whether they want open or semi-open adoption. So Lifetime really facilitates the adoption between birth parents interested in adoption and adoptive parents that want to become parents through adoption.
All right, so you were talking about open adoptions, and I think, you know, some people may look at that as a little bit of a touchy area because once they adopt, they're afraid that if they do an open adoption, then what's going to happen? Then perhaps the birth parents may want that child back. Right. What exactly is an open adoption?
Well, open adoption can be many different things, anywhere from having just letters and photographs, and now with the internet, they can have a private website where they can post photographs, and the birth mom can have a password. And so it can be just letters and photographs, or even ongoing contact or phone calls. Really depends on the type of adoption that adoptive parents want and birth parents want. Not to be fearful of it, because a lot of times open adoption is really good for children.
What services are you able to provide, and how do these services benefit all parties involved?
Well, the services that we provide through the Lifetime Adoption, and this is important to me because I'm an adoptive mom myself, and I wanted to provide services that we felt women needed, which is going to have stabilization so they can get stabilized, get counseling, really think out their options and what they want to do. Do they have any options within their family, which is very important, and then to be able to have ongoing support during the adoption process and afterwards. You know, we have scholarship programs and helping women to get really back on their feet and break the cycle of either poverty or where they've been going.
And you were talking about this book that you wrote. It's called So I Was Thinking About Adoption, and as you just alluded to just a little bit ago, this came from a very personal place for you.
Right.
You're an adoptive parent. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, it was many years ago. I have gone through 7 pregnancy losses, including twins, and so I have really gone on both sides and then had a miracle child. So I've experienced pregnancy, you know, through medical technology, but I've also adopted, very difficult adoption. So I understand a lot of what the birth parents are going through.
You said it was a difficult adoption.
I had a difficult adoption. I had birth parents that did want to come back, and the laws in my state at the time allow the birth mother to come back after up to 6 months. Now, I've helped pass a law in California that cuts that time down and makes it safer. Every state is different with different state laws.
And you also say that adoption has changed over the years.
Oh, it has.
How so?
Well, you know, years ago, adoption was really kind of a quiet type thing. Even today, whenever I go someplace, someone will come whisper in my ear, you know, we adopted, or I placed a child, or I'm an adoptee. So I think what's happening now is adoption becoming very familiar. 3 out of 5 people are touched by adoption. So when we just here in the studio today, speaking to people that know people that are adopted, it was amazing. And so I think it's becoming more of a norm, and we're becoming a melting pot. So there are interracial adoptions going on, and older children, and blending of families. So I think adoption is something that's really changed. Plus, with the internet, women can get more information about adoption in the privacy of their own home.
And so what are some of the other myths about adoption?
I think the other myths are that most women are teenagers, which they're not. Most of the women that we see in our center are in their 20s and 30s. We've even had some menopause babies in their 40s. And so very few teenagers, but mostly 20 and 30-year-olds. And that also single parents can adopt, which is not true because single parents can adopt. And I think also cost, that it is affordable to adopt. There's a federal tax credit of over $13,000 to help adoptive parents. There is no cost for birth parents that are looking at adoption for their child, with lots of services. And I think also age. A lot of people feel they're older or they have children, as in your situation where you have all the children. Can we adopt? Yes. So people that have children already that want to adopt, and you can have gender specific.
Well, I have to tell you, this information was just so useful, not just for me, but I'm sure for a lot of viewers out there who may be kind of struggling with whether or not they're going to do this. So it was so great having you on the show this morning.
Thank you so very much. It's wonderful being here, too.
Oh, anytime. And if you'd like more information about lifetime adoption, just check out lifetimeadoption.com. And if you'd like to find out more about Mardie Caldwell or her helpful books, just visit mardiecaldwell.com.